You feel everything, the ache, the longing, the tears that fall without permission, and because your heart is visible, you assume his must be silent because it feels nothing. Yet deep inside you, a question lingers like a shadow. If I am breaking, why does he look whole? Was this connection only real for me? In the twin flame journey, the feminine often stands in the open storm of emotion, while the masculine disappears behind closed doors, leaving you to wonder if his quiet means he has moved on, forgotten you, or never felt you at all. This confusion becomes pain, and the unknown becomes the wound. Today, we walk behind the curtain into the hidden chambers of the masculine soul that the world never sees. You will learn how his silence is not emptiness, but pressure, conflict, and a voice trapped beneath generations of conditioning. We will uncover why he hides what you feel openly, why he distances himself even when he loves, and why his quiet is not a sign of indifference, but a language of suffering he never learned to speak out loud. Together, we will explore his inner battlefield, where longing wrestles with fear, desire collides with responsibility, and love burns quietly, painfully, endlessly. When you understand what lives behind his silence, something shifts inside you, not to excuse him, not to carry his wounds, but to finally see him. You will no longer interpret withdrawal as rejection or emotional walls as lack of care. Instead, you will recognize a soul overflowing without knowing how to express itself, a heart hurting in ways he does not know how to share. From this awakening springs compassion, clarity, and a deeper peace in your own path. And through that understanding, union begins to feel less like something missing and more like something unfolding. Section 1. His training in silence. From his earliest years, the divine masculine was shaped not by tenderness, but by expectation. He was told directly or indirectly that his value lived in how well he endured, how much he carried without flinching, how effectively he could stand firm in a world that demanded strength over sensitivity. As a child, he learned that tears made him weak, vulnerability made him unsafe, and emotional expression was something to be outgrown, suppressed, or hidden. Love was never language, it was duty. Affection was not spoken, it was earned. Approval came through performance, achieving, providing, proving himself again and again. So when the twin flame connection enters his life, it does not meet an open heart, it meets a lifetime of training built around silence. Your love awakens emotions he was never taught to navigate, sensations that stretch far beyond what his nervous system was conditioned to hold. Where you feel expansion, he feels rupture. Where you feel invitation, he feels exposure. His instinct is not to speak but to contain, not to release but to restrain. This is where his suffering silently begins. Not because he does not feel, but because he feels too much more than he ever believed he was allowed to. Divine love is not logical. It cannot be managed, contained, or scheduled. It floods. It breaks walls. It brings the soul to its knees. And to the masculine, whose identity was built on control, this love feels like an internal storm. He must survive alone, even though the connection was always meant to be shared. You, the feminine, recognize him and breathe. Home. He recognizes you and trembles. Earthquake. For you, the union is remembrance, softness, belonging. You feel the soul recognition like sunrise breaking over dark fields, warm, familiar, destined. You seek understanding, conversation, spiritual context, community, guidance. Your instinct is expansion, connection, expression. For him, the same recognition dismantles the very foundation of who he believed he was. His career suddenly feels insufficient. His relationships feel shallow. His self-image cracks. Ambitions blur. The life he built with such discipline begins to glitch beneath the weight of something infinitely larger than logic. You lean into the mystery. He clings to stability. You speak, journal, ask the universe for meaning. He retreats into silence, hoping stillness will restore control. But true love is a force. It does not negotiate. It does not shrink to fit the comfort of old patterns. And here lies the truth many feminines feel but do not always understand. What liberates you, expansion, vulnerability, soul connection, is the very thing that threatens him. Not because he wants to resist love, but because love demands from him the one thing he was taught to avoid feeling. The divine masculine is not cold, he is overwhelmed. He is not indifferent, he is unprepared. He is not absent, he is unraveling. His silence is not emptiness, it is the battlefield where his identity and his awakening collide. And slowly, painfully, beautifully, love begins to do what no conditioning ever could. It breaks him open, so he may finally feel. Before we move forward, take a moment to breathe and sit with what we just explored. Do you recognize this silence in your own masculine, or perhaps in yourself? Have you witnessed how love can feel like safety for one and disruption for another? I invite you to reflect on this dynamic gently, without judgment, only awareness. If this truth resonates with your experience, share your thoughts below or simply type, "He wasn't taught to feel, but he is learning," as an affirmation for the journey ahead. Your voice adds light to the collective field, and together we continue into the next chapter with deeper understanding and compassion. Section 2. When awakening feels like breakdown. Awakening does not unfold the same way for the divine feminine and the divine masculine. While she often rises into higher consciousness through moments of clarity, intuition, epiphany, and remembrance, the masculine meets the same spiritual shift as disorientation, confusion, and collapse. For her, awakening feels like opening like light, finally entering a room that has been dark for lifetimes. But for him, awakening feels like the walls breaking, the ground shaking. Everything he once relied upon, logic, identity, structure, purpose, suddenly becomes unstable beneath his feet. He begins to look at his life differently, often without knowing why. The job that once made him feel accomplished now feels empty. The goals he spent years building toward begin to lose flavor. Conversations with friends sound shallow. The body feels restless. The heart feels heavy. The future he thought he wanted no longer fits the man he is becoming, yet the self he is becoming is still shapeless, unfamiliar, undefined. This is where his inner turmoil begins, not because he does not want to grow, but because growth demands that he sheds everything he once used to feel safe, powerful, successful, in control. He does not always understand what is happening. No one taught him that spiritual awakening can arrive disguised as burnout, loss, numbness, or emotional collapse. No one told him that meeting his twin flame would ignite dormant parts of his soul that have been silent for decades, maybe lifetimes. All he knows is this: life changed after you. The moment your energy touched his field, something inside him woke up, something ancient, something sacred, something he cannot logically explain. He feels pulled toward you, but also overwhelmed by the intensity you awaken in him. Because you do not simply stir love, you awaken truth. And truth asks him to face what he has avoided: his heart, his wounds, his softness, his longing, his fear, his soul. Inside this shift exists a painful paradox. He cannot return to the old version of himself, yet he does not know how to step into the new one. He stands in a threshold space between two worlds. Behind him is the life he outgrew. Ahead of him is a path he has not yet learned to walk. This liminal stage, the death of the old self before the rebirth of the new, is one of the most excruciating parts of the masculine awakening. He may withdraw, detach, grow silent, or disappear, not because he feels less, but because he feels too much without having the emotional map to navigate it. Imagine standing inside a house you built with your own hands, suddenly realizing the walls are too small for the person you are becoming. You can neither stay, because you can no longer breathe, nor leave, because you do not yet know where to go. This is his reality. He feels the collapse before he understands the rebirth. He experiences discomfort long before he experiences clarity. Where she rises, he breaks, and in that breaking the soul begins to rearrange itself. He suffers most in this in-between, not because he is weak, but because his awakening demands that everything untrue must fall apart first. He is not just losing who he was, he is meeting who he truly is. And that journey begins the moment life stops fitting him the way it used to. Section 3. The invisible breakdown. On the surface, nothing seems wrong. He shows up to work, he answers messages, he laughs in the right places, he performs life the way he always has. predictable, functioning, composed. To the outside world, he appears steady, untouched, unaffected. No one would suspect that beneath this calm exterior lives an inner storm so loud, so relentless, it shakes the foundation of his identity. He is breaking, but the break is silent, hidden behind strength, responsibility, and practiced self-control. His suffering does not bleed out visibly like hers might. It moves quietly, like a tide rising in the dark. He lies awake at night replaying conversations, moments, glances that felt like home in a way nothing else ever has. He remembers the softness in your voice, the recognition in your eyes. He wonders what he could have done differently, what he should have said, why he feels you even when you are gone. These questions do not leave him. They echo, they haunt. They keep him suspended between memory and regret. His pain shows up in subtle ways that the world misreads. He dates other people but feels nothing, a numbness he doesn't understand. He tries to move on logically, but logic cannot tame a soul connection. He finds himself comparing every woman to you, not because he wants to, but because your presence carved a memory that refuses to fade. He wants to forget, to function, to return to normal, yet his heart no longer responds to normal. It responds to truth. It responds to you. There are moments when frustration erupts inwardly, anger at himself for wanting what he walked away from, anger for feeling so deeply when he was taught to feel less, anger because you awakened him to a love he does not know how to hold. He tries to silence it through work, distraction, routine, but the soul does not negotiate. It speaks in longing, in emptiness, in the ache he pretends not to feel. This is the masculine experience many never see. A man who loves in silence, who breaks without witnesses, who feels too much and says nothing because he never learned how to put emotion into words. His emotional world is rich, heavy, and alive, yet hidden behind a face that looks unchanged. No one notices the dimming of his eyes. No one hears the exhaustion in his voice. No one feels the weight he carries because his collapse does not look like collapse. It looks like endurance. And this is what makes his awakening so painful. Invisibility. No one rushes to hold him because he looks like he does not need holding. No one asks the questions that could unlock the truth because he appears composed. He is burning from the inside out, but the world only sees the shell he learned to protect himself with. The feminine often cries outwardly, but he cries inwardly, quietly, drowning in emotions he never learned to swim through. He faces this transformation alone, not because he wants to, but because he doesn't know another way. His silence is armor, his smile is disguise, his strength is survival. The invisible breakdown is not the absence of feeling, it is the overflow of feeling with no place to go. It is a heart swollen with truths he cannot speak, a soul awakening faster than his mind can comprehend. And behind every pause, every closed door, every long night staring into darkness is a man trying to understand why life changed the moment you entered it. He is not unaffected, he is overwhelmed. And he carries it quietly, hoping one day he will find the courage to speak what his silence has been screaming all along. Imagine him sitting in a dimly lit room long after midnight, the world asleep, while he wrestles with a truth he won't speak aloud. His phone rests in his hand, your contact only a tap away, yet his thumb never presses send. Instead, he opens your old messages, reads them slowly, lets the memory of your voice wash over him like salt on an open wound. For a moment, he feels you close. Then reality returns, and he locks the screen as if hiding a secret from himself. He pours another cup of coffee, not because he needs energy, but because he needs distraction. He scrolls through social media, laughs at things that don't amuse him, answers messages that mean nothing, and lays back in a silence that feels too heavy to breathe. No one sees this moment. No one knows that his chest tightens every time he remembers the softness in your eyes or the way his soul exhaled when you were near. To the world, he looks like a man scrolling his phone, but in truth, he is a man remembering love in a place where he can tell no one. Section 4. When love becomes a mirror. There comes a moment on the twin flame path where love stops being comfort and becomes reflection. This is where the feminine often stands unknowingly, as a mirror not only to his heart, but to his unfinished growth, his unhealed wounds, his forgotten truth. Your love does not admire the surface of who he is. It recognizes the depth beneath his armor, the soul beneath his silence, the man beneath the version he learned to perform for the world. And for a masculine who has spent years, maybe decades, building strength through suppression, identity through survival, acceptance through achievement, this level of visibility is terrifying. You do not fall in love with his best behavior, with his persona, with the polished image he presents because he believes he must. You love his essence. You feel the pulse of his soul even when he tries to hide it. You sense the softness he guards, the vulnerability he fears, the purpose he has not yet stepped into. And if he has not met himself at that depth, then your love becomes something paradoxical, both the healing he needs and the catalyst he is afraid to face. In the presence of your heart, he is not just loved, he is seen. And being seen requires that he confront every part of himself he has outgrown, ignored, or denied. This is where the feminine often misunderstands the masculine. His distance is not rejection. His hesitation is not lack of feeling. It is the shock of recognition, the awareness that to love you fully, he cannot remain who he has been. You represent an invitation into evolution, an invitation into truth, an invitation into a level of emotional, spiritual, and energetic maturity he may never have been asked to reach before. Your connection does not ask him to perform, it demands authenticity. It burns away pretense, asks him to remove the mask, and calls his soul forward with a force that cannot be ignored or negotiated with. For him to stand beside you, he cannot approach as the version that survived, he must rise as the version that lives. To love you, he must grow. He must shed the armor built from childhood conditioning, from cultural pressure, from years of believing strength meant silence. He must learn to feel rather than numb. He must learn to speak from the heart rather than the ego. He must step into presence rather than performance. This evolution is not small, it is an inner collapse, a death of identity, a surrender of every mask that once protected him. The masculine on this path often realizes that loving you means meeting himself, and meeting himself means dismantling everything built on fear, control, or emotional suppression. You are not asking for more effort, you are asking for more truth, not more words, more presence, not more promises, more embodiment. Your love is not a demand, it is a mirror, and mirrors do not lie. This phase of the journey is not about pushing him, fixing him, or waiting for him. It is about understanding the sacred transformation unfolding beneath the surface. His fear is not of you, it is of becoming the man his soul already knows he must be. The man your love reflects back to him. The man who can stand without armor, speak without pretense, and meet you heart to heart rather than mask to mask. He does not fear your love. He fears that he must become limitless to hold it, and that he can. And that is where his awakening begins. Section 5. The Crisis of Worthiness and Control. Deep within the masculine heart lies a wound most people never see, the quiet ache of never feeling truly worthy. This is the pain he rarely speaks, the shadow he rarely names, the place where he has carried the belief that he must earn love in order to deserve it. A lifetime of conditioning taught him that value comes from performance, that acceptance comes through achievement, that love is given only when he becomes enough. So when you arrive offering love without demand, without expectation, without condition, his entire understanding of connection is unraveled. You love him for who he is, not what he does. You see the man beneath the striving, not the mask shaped by effort. You feel his heart even when he hides behind strength. And this kind of love confuses him more than distance ever could, because he has never learned how to receive what does not require labor, control, or proof. He knows how to earn, he knows how to perform, but to simply be loved without effort, without accomplishment, without a role to play, feels foreign, disorienting, even unsafe. Not because your love harms him, but because it dismantles the system by which he has understood his worth his entire life. He asks himself, even if silently, why me? What did I do to deserve this? What if I fail her? What if I cannot live up to her vision of me? These questions are not doubt of the connection, they are fear of inadequacy. He is not afraid of your love. He is afraid he may never be enough to hold it. Afraid that one day you might see what he sees within himself and leave. And so, Control becomes his shield. Control gives him structure, direction, and predictability. Control whispers safety where vulnerability feels like exposure. Masculine identity has long been built on certainty, a foundation of knowing, planning, leading, doing. But twin flame love cannot be managed like a task or a mission. It cannot be held inside logic or strategy. Twin flame love is not controlled, it is surrendered into. And surrender is everything he was taught not to do. To the unhealed masculine, surrender feels like collapse, like the death of identity, like stepping into a fire without knowing if he will emerge whole. So when he pulls away, it is not rejection. It is self-protection, a pause at the edge of transformation. Your love invites him into the unknown, into a space where his worth is intrinsic rather than earned, where connection is felt rather than controlled. To move toward you, he must loosen his grip on the armor that has kept him safe. He must risk being seen without defense, loved without performance, chosen without control. And that leap from surviving love to receiving love is the darkest doorway he will ever stand in front of. Because loving you does not threaten his heart. It threatens his old self. And that version must die so the man he truly is can finally rise. This is the crisis. This is the awakening. This is the moment he learns that worthiness is not achieved, it is remembered. If you've made it this far, take a moment, breathe, place your hand over your heart, and feel what has stirred within you. These truths are not easy to hear, yet something inside you understands them deeply, perhaps because you have lived them. Maybe you have loved a masculine who could not yet receive you. Maybe you have seen the way your presence awakens both devotion and fear. Maybe you recognize yourself in the mirror of worthiness too. I invite you to pause and reflect. Where in your journey has worthiness shaped love? Where has control guarded vulnerability? Where has surrender invited breakthrough? Share your story below. Your experience may be the medicine someone else needs today. And if you don't know what to say, simply type, "I choose love without fear," as an affirmation to anchor this transformation into your field. Section 6. Projection, Fear, and Isolation. There is a moment in the twin flame journey where love no longer feels like expansion for the masculine, but like exposure. A moment where your presence does not simply warm him, it illuminates him. Every flaw he thought he had buried, every wound he thought he had overcome, every insecurity he hoped no one would ever see, your love brings it all to the surface, not to shame him, but to cleanse him. Yet he does not know this at first. He only feels the rising heat of transformation and the fear that comes with being fully seen. In this space, he projects his inner wounds onto the connection itself. He begins to believe that the love is too vast, that your heart is too deep, that one day you will look into him and see everything he has not yet become. He fears that when you finally witness his rawness, the unfinished parts, the unpolished edges, you will turn away. Not because you lack love, but because he believes he must already be whole in order to be worthy of you. And so his fear speaks before his heart does. He fears that he cannot hold the magnitude of what you offer. He fears that the depth of your love will swallow him before he learns how to swim. He fears that the intensity of this connection will destroy everything he built to survive his independence, his identity, his control. This is why he withdraws. Not because you are overwhelming, not because the love is too powerful, but because somewhere deep in his conditioning, he believes he is not enough. His retreat is not rejection, it is self-preservation. The masculine, trained for decades to manage emotion rather than feel it, steps back to rebuild stability within himself. You express to heal, he silences to heal. Where you expand through connection, he contracts into solitude. What feels like abandonment to the feminine is often a chrysalis, a sacred container where he slowly disarms his defenses, sits with what you awakened in him, and learns to hold his own heart without running from it. Inside his silence, he is not forgetting you. Inside his absence, he is not letting go. Inside that quiet, he is dismantling the walls love came to break. He heals in places you cannot see, internal landscapes, where pain turns to awareness, where fear becomes courage, where inadequacy transforms into accountability. His isolation is not coldness, it is construction. Like a seed buried in earth, unseen does not mean inactive. His stillness is a phase of becoming a cocoon where a new version of him is being formed. And though it hurts the feminine to feel the space, the distance, the unanswered presence, understand that this is the point where love tests endurance. The connection has not died, it is incubating. He is learning to meet your depth, not by avoiding it, but by developing the capacity to hold it. He is not preparing to leave, he is preparing to stand beside you without collapsing. What looks like disappearance is often transformation. What feels like silence is sometimes the sound of rebirth. He withdraws, not because you are too much, but because he longs to one day feel like he is enough. Section 7. The purpose of his pain. There comes a time on the twin flame journey when the feminine must look past the surface and see the alchemy beneath it, to understand that his struggle is not a detour, but the very path that leads him to love. His pain is not meaningless, random, or wasted. It is initiation. It is the refining of the masculine spirit. It is the pressure that cracks open everything he once was, so he can remember everything he is meant to become. The masculine does not awaken through comfort, he awakens through friction. His soul evolves not by remaining unchallenged, but by being dismantled. He meets himself not in ease, but in the fire. The suffering he carries is the force that fractures the old shell, the persona built from survival, ego, societal expectation, and emotional suppression. It is the fire that burns away the numbness, the avoidance, the illusion of control. You are not witnessing his collapse, you are witnessing the demolition of who he is not. From the ashes, the conscious masculine begins to rise, slower, softer, clearer, more present. This pain does not weaken him, it trains him. It teaches him intimacy is not loss of self, but expansion of self. It teaches him vulnerability is not danger, but doorway. It teaches him that love is not something he must earn, it is something he must allow. When he goes silent, it is not a withdrawal of love. It is love learning a language he never grew up speaking. Silence is where he practices feeling instead of fleeing, where he learns to hold emotion without shutting down, where he rewires his nervous system to remain open in the presence of intensity. His quiet is the womb of transformation, not absence, but restructuring. His distance is not disinterest. It is integration in progress. The mind is catching up to what the soul already knows. He steps back not to disappear, but to metabolize, to process, to find the courage to return not as half a man, but as one who can stand beside you unfragmented. His pain is not rejection, it is rebirth. The masculine is being reborn into a lover who does not run from depth, but rises to meet it, into a partner who does not fear emotion but holds it tenderly, into a soul who no longer hides from love, but recognizes it as home. He is becoming the man who can love you fully, not just feel you profoundly. And the fire is the doorway to that becoming. So when you feel the distance, the silence, the ache, breathe. Not everything that hurts is breaking. Many things that hurt are transforming. You are witnessing the forging of the conscious masculine. He does not emerge without heat. He does not awaken without pain. He does not love without first learning how to stay. His suffering has purpose. His pause has meaning. His pain is the path he must walk to meet you as an equal, not a shadow. The divine masculine suffers more than he shows, feels deeper than he will ever articulate, and loves far beyond the reach of his spoken words. His silence is not indifference, nor is it a void, it is movement happening in the unseen, transformation unfolding in the chambers of his inner world. He journeys where you cannot always follow, into wounds inherited through generations, into fears that were never allowed to be named. When you look beyond the absence of words and feel the truth beneath the surface, you begin to witness something sacred, a man rebuilding himself from the inside out. When you understand his hidden process, you soften. You choose compassion over conclusion, presence over pressure. You realize that silence is not stagnation, it is reconstruction. What looks like distance is often devotion. What feels like retreat is sometimes rebirth. He is unraveling an old identity so he can return to you not as a fragment, but as a whole. His path is not straight, his awakening not gentle, his evolution not meaningless. It is raw, disruptive, holy, and necessary. Because he is not leaving you, he is meeting himself. He is not collapsing, he is shedding skins. He is not absent, he is becoming. Becoming a man who no longer loves from fear, but from clarity. Becoming a partner who meets you heart to heart, rather than shadow to shadow. Becoming the masculine who remembers his divinity in the mirror of your love. And when he returns, not impulsively, not half-formed, not rushed by wounds, but grounded, embodied, aware, whole, then union is no longer an ache or a hope. It is readiness. It is reciprocity. It is two souls not reaching across distance, but standing side by side in truth. So as you breathe in this final moment of reflection, ask yourself, do I recognize the king he is becoming, even before he wears the crown? If this message touched you, I invite you to leave a comment sharing one powerful quote that resonated with you most, something that reflects the becoming, the rise, the quiet transformation of the masculine. And, beloved, if you felt expanded, seen, or guided through this teaching, let your energy ripple outward like, share this video, and take a moment to continue the journey by watching the next video below the screen. Our path does not end here. It deepens, it unfolds, it calls forward the union that was always destined. Type your quote, claim your insight, and step with me into the next chapter.